to start us off today, the wedding music, some noted. So I just wanted to start us off. I know we'll probably have a couple people still rolling in here, but we'll get started. I know everyone's taken time out of their day, so really appreciate everyone for being here, and we'll get going today. Just noticing so many people rolling in. Okay, so just to introduce myself, my name's Paige. I use they or she pronouns. I am part of the Wellbeing Waterloo Region Backbone team, and I just want to shout out and introduce the other amazing members of the Backbone team that we have today with the background, so they're easy to find, but maybe you can just wave everyone. So we've got Cheryl, Cynthia, Jackie, Olivia, and Sydney as well, and it's so amazing to see so many familiar and friendly faces this morning. Just a couple housekeeping pieces. If there's any questions or comments, please put those in the chat. We'll also have time for Q&A at the end. If you look at the bottom of your screen, there should be an option for live captioning that's been enabled. So if you'd like the closed captioning option, you can select that. And just a reminder as well that everyone who attends this event is being entered into a draw to win a Waterloo Region local gift box with items and gift cards from that Jackie has curated from stores across the region, such as Floral Ice Cream, Fulton Market, Wordsworth Books, Zero Waste Bulk, Esta Chocolates, and Comeback Snacks Popcorn, which I think is Hamilton, but we'll allow it. And the winner is going to be announced by the end of this week. So those entries are also included for those who entered our Instagram contest. So as we get started today, I do want to start us off by offering a territorial acknowledgement, because even though we are here together virtually, our place-based work is centered around the land that many of us know as Waterloo Region. And this is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Neutral peoples. We acknowledge the enduring presence of the Indigenous peoples with whom we share this land today, their achievements and contributions to the community. And for those of us that are settlers and have the privilege to be living, working, and playing on this land, we have a collective responsibility to learn the truth of the harms in Canada against First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples that continue to this day, still ongoing, and to educate ourselves and to take action on our collective journey towards reconciliation. So let's all reflect on the land where we are today and where we find ourselves in Waterloo Region on the Haldimand Tract. And I would like to introduce Elder Elaine Garner today to open our event. So Elaine is an Anishinaabe and was born in Wolseley Bay on the French River in Northern Ontario. Her father was from Doki's First Nation and her sister still lives there. She traveled extensively, living in Brazil and working at Washington State University. Elaine retired as Senior Financial Manager for Graduate Scholarships and Awards at the University of Waterloo in 2014. Her highlight of service at both universities was working with students. Elaine's impact extends far beyond the university when she and her friend, Nina DeShane Gill, started White Owl Native Ancestry Association in 1985. White Owl is a community-based resource that offers counseling, land-based teaching and programs, outreach to services, and an elder community. Elaine provides guidance and support to many groups within Wellbeing Waterloo Region, including the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit Advisory and Advocacy Circle, the Connectors Hub, and the Sustainability Group. And I am so honored to know and to be able to introduce Elaine today to open our time together.
Ani Nanabusho Elaine Neen Dishtikoff. I'm Elaine Garner, and miigwech for being here on this day of celebration for the Waterloo Region Wellbeing organization and all the good that's been done in the community. First, we want to acknowledge the children whose graves keep being found. May the Creator bless those people on these reserves and their families, bring them some comfort. Miigwech to the Creator for helping us to be included in this creative day for social good and all the wonderful, talented people which hosted by Capacity Canada. We have so many people to thank: the backbone people on Waterloo Regional Wellbeing, the Connectors Hub, the partners in the community. We have to say miigwech, miigwech, miigwech. Also, when we leave this past and things that brought us success. We say miigwech to the Creator and ask for blessings for the future. And I thank you all for being here and for bringing all our minds together to celebrate this wonderful day. So miigwech, miigwech, miigwech.
Thank you so much, Elaine. Thank you for being so supportive of this work and such a part of our work and opening us and setting intentions in such a good way for us to do this work together. I think anyone who's been part of a Wellbeing Waterloo Region working group or meeting, who's had the honor and privilege to connect with Elaine and any of the many other elders who have supported this work throughout, know that it feels different when there's somebody there who helps bring our minds together. So thank you, Elaine. Miigwech. Appreciate you joining us. So I would like to introduce Jane Hennig to provide some remarks as well. And Jane is the Executive Director of Volunteer Waterloo Region, which provides services that strengthen the capacity of over 170 charity and nonprofit organizations to engage and support volunteers. Jane currently provides sector leadership through her roles as co-convener for Wellbeing Waterloo Region, past chair of the boards at Volunteer Canada and St. Luke's Evangelical Lutheran Church, a leadership participant with Ontario Volunteer Centre Network, in addition to community leadership work directly stemming from her executive director position. Jane continuously works to demonstrate the value of community engagement locally and beyond. And I am delighted to introduce Jane, and having gotten to know her and work with her over the past several months and the many years that she's been involved with Wellbeing Waterloo Region. So I will turn it to you, Elaine. Or sorry, Jane.
Thanks, Paige. It was really a pleasure last week to actually meet Paige face to face for the first time. We've been chatting online for the full year since she was in the interview process for this role, and it's so nice to actually be face to face with her, and can't wait to be with the whole team and with all of you who are part of the Wellbeing Waterloo Region. So thank you all for joining us this morning, and Elaine, thank you again for setting the tone. It's always such a pleasure to have you really frame things so well for us in all of our meetings. I really, really appreciate you, and thank you for your wisdom and the heart that you bring to us. I'm gonna actually start by thanking a whole lot of people. So I guess that's something that we're not really great at doing at Wellbeing Waterloo Region. So I'm going to break the trend and really point out a few people. I think some of them have been pointed out as we were starting, but thank you to the backbone team. So Paige, Cheryl, Cynthia, Jackie, and the newest members, Sydney and Olivia, for all the work that you do to make sure that what this community of practice really points the direction, but you do the work, and we so appreciate all that you do for us. I'd like to acknowledge my partner and co-convener, Mark Blode from Waterloo Region Police Services. She has been a real help to the backbone team, to the connector hub, and has provided some really much needed connections with the police services so that we understand what how we connect and move community forward in a positive way. And I would like to thank all of you who are part of Wellbeing Waterloo Region, whether you're on the connector hub or any of the working groups. We know that you're putting in really valuable time, and it is through the engagement of so many that we can move the needle on different aspects of community work. So I want to acknowledge everybody who participates, and thank you for your time. As Paige shared, I'm Jane Hennig. I'm the Executive Director of Volunteer Waterloo Region. And we're a small charity, but we have been supporting volunteerism in this community for nearly 38 years now. And I'm really proud of the work that we do. And I see the alignment really closely with the work of Wellbeing Waterloo Region, and so have been really supporting this initiative from very early on. I was asked to kind of set some context, give some history behind Wellbeing Waterloo Region to start the morning. But as I did, I thought, you know what, we've been building forward. We've really been on a forward trajectory, and this revitalization event today is all about going forward. And so I just finished reading some research. Well, only part of it because it's hundreds and hundreds of pages, but I've started reading it. Some research from the International Association for Volunteer Effort and the UN. They do a paper on the state of world's volunteerism. And these research papers that just came out in the last couple months really speak to, I think, what Wellbeing Waterloo Region is trying to accomplish. And that is the importance of engaging community in innovative solutions. And they are very clear that it is through collaboration, and more importantly, it is through engaging with individuals with lived and living experience that we can really create new and successful solutions to the issues of our communities. So when I read that, I thought, well, that absolutely frames what we're trying to do with well-being. And so rather than looking backwards, I look forward. It gives us some ideas on how to continue to engage and try to really listen to the lived experience in creating solutions. So we've come a long way since the original visioning back in 2015, 16. And we have really done a lot of shifting during the pandemic at Wellbeing. We were instrumental in some of the work of the psychosocial spiritual support working group for the region's pandemic response, and played a role there and have continued to work with that group and support that group in their efforts moving forward in community. We've been listening to our community partners as we build forward and are focusing on connected community, equity, and measuring well-being as we move into the post-pandemic period. And now we're here today to share a new brand, a new logo, new website with you, looking at the revitalization of who we are and what we do at Wellbeing Waterloo Region. We're grateful for the opportunity that Capacity Canada gave to Wellbeing through the Creative Day for Social Good to have students working on or with local design professionals to develop materials that are really reflective of who we are, as we focused inward a little bit so that we can present a new look outward. We looked at who we are as a collaborative, what our brand should say about us, how the website can best serve the community members and organizations that are accessing it. Just in the past few weeks, I've been told by the Backbone team that other municipalities have been reaching out to Wellbeing Waterloo Region to access the equity resources that we have on our website. And so it is so important that that website really reflect the latest and the greatest of the work that's being done here in Waterloo Region. Making it accessible and user-friendly is really important. This initiative was a true collaboration. So we worked with the students and the design experts, but our communications engagement working group really made sure that we also brought it to all of those who have been involved with Wellbeing Waterloo Region so that they could provide their thoughts, their input, their feedback. The Backbone team did a survey that helped inform the new direction. And it is with that we are able to really take pride in the fact that what we have, we are launching here today really reflects the community. So thank you again, everyone, for coming today to celebrate with Wellbeing Waterloo Region and to learn about the creative process that took place and to see the new look for Wellbeing.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jane, for sharing those remarks. And I feel like you have such a unique and an important perspective, having been involved in this for so long, and the work that you do with Volunteer Waterloo Region, and your belief and your kind of holistic understanding of the power of volunteerism and people coming together. And I love what you said about engaging community and innovative solutions. And I think, we're in this tech region, right? And there's, we're working with Smart Waterloo Region Innovation Lab right now on disaggregating some data. And there's a really big push to that, user-focused design tech piece, right? But how do we understand that in terms of social innovation? And I really want to shout out the Communications and Engagement Working Group, as you've shared around this creative day for social good process, because, and I think it was Lynn Short, and I think I see Lynn here. We had a tight timeline for working with this because the Creative Day for Social Good, it's quick, it happens in a day. We have a little bit of time to prepare. And that whole group really affirmed the importance of getting community feedback on this, right? And so we were able to figure out a way to do that, that worked in our timeline, but also making sure that what was created was reflective of community. So I just really appreciate everything you shared there and all of the work that you put into this off the side of your desk as a co-convener with all of the other things that you have to do. And just really appreciate all of your time in those remarks, Jane. Thank you so much. So I will now turn it over to Jackie to share the big reveal of our new branding. And so, our website's been up for a little bit. You may have seen it. You can see the logo in our backgrounds here. We've been putting a few things out over social media, but this is really the time and the opportunity that we're coming together today to celebrate it and do that big reveal. So I will introduce Jackie Heinzman, who is our fabulous communications assistant, backbone team member. And she really just jumped in headfirst with all of this into this role at a busy time. Jackie started with us in September, so just about a month before the Creative Day for Social Good, and really was the key contact for that project with the students with Conestoga and with Capacity Canada, as well as convening the Communications and Engagement Working Group, which I see some members of here today as well, and really guiding through this process so that it wasn't directed by Wellbeing Waterloo Region backbone staff. It wasn't directed by the students specifically. It wasn't directed by any one individual. It was really a collaborative effort. Jackie, thank you so much for diving headfirst into this and for embracing the collaborative spirit of and different and innovative ways of working that we have as a community collaborative. So I will turn it over to you to take it away, Jackie.
Thank you, Paige. Yeah, thanks for the kind words. I'm just going to start sharing my screen. It's not so much of a big reveal because everyone has probably seen the logo. It's right behind our head, but I will share anyways. So just give me one sec here. All right, so I'm going to kind of reiterate some things that Jane and Paige have kind of mentioned already, but like they have mentioned, the revitalization is largely in thanks to our participation in the Creative Day for Social Good journey that we were really so lucky to be a part of. And I just kind of want to go through this experience a little bit more from our end of it. We'll also hear afterwards the whole process from some different perspectives from Peyton, a student from the Creative Day team, and Kathy Brothers, who is the CEO of Capacity Canada. But first, I'm just going to go through our experience. So it really was perfect timing, as I had just been hired on as the new communications assistant and was really able to identify any gaps that I personally needed to be successful in my new role, which is an amazing thing to come into as a communicator. So at first glance, I knew that Wellbeing was going through a bit of a transition, could tell that some clarity and cohesion was really needed. And for me as a marketer, a foundational piece for this is to create a strong brand identity that not only broadens your impact, but most importantly, creates cohesion and clarity internally, which in this case is not only the backbone team, but the entire network. So from this, we were really able to provide a priority list of the communication items that we needed the most. And then the creative team from the Creative Day for Social Good was able to choose what felt meaningful and doable to their skill sets and interests. So at first we identified the priorities as a backbone team, and then we brought that to the communications and engagement working group for further input. So the top 3 items that we all agreed on were the logo, a brand guideline to complement the logo, and some website assistance, however that was going to look. And the other items on that list included things like a new newsletter template, videography ideas, and some campaign ideas as well. And as Paige and Jane have both mentioned, being a community-led collaborative, we really wanted to make sure that we were living out our values in this whole process and incorporating the perspectives of the network as much as possible. So to do this, we distributed a survey on October 1st to receive input, perspectives, opinions about the original, like the old logo and website, and then what we would like to see for future communications. So this was distributed bi-weekly, or in our bi-weekly newsletter and directly emailed to some people as well. And then from this survey, we learned that 70% of the total respondents were unsatisfied with that original old logo and website, or 70% were unsatisfied with the logo and 40% were unsatisfied with the website, which was enough reassurance for us to make the logo and the website our top priorities for this revitalization. And then from this survey, we also asked what kind of concepts, symbols, images, and messages come to mind when thinking of well-being Waterloo Region. And the main themes that came across were the desire for imagery that's bright, vibrant, simple, inclusive, and welcoming. And our creative team was really receptive to this whole collaborative process. I think this was a little bit unusual, especially within these tight deadlines. The whole day of designing was literally just one day. But leading up to the event, with this collaborative process, they were able to create a creative brief that we then used to dictate how the actual day was going to look like. So I really do think that the survey helped guide this whole direction of how the logo turned out and was created. And on the actual day of the event, they allowed us again to be really involved and collaborative, again, in a way that was a little bit unusual. So halfway through that morning, we met with the creative team, as well as some members from the communications and engagement working group who were available at that time. And we were able to approve the first draft of this logo. And also they had given us a couple different options to choose from to ensure that it was something we were all on board with before they went ahead and finalized it. So as you can see on my screen, the logo that they created for us is this, and it's exactly what we had hoped for and more. There was really so much thought and meaning that went into the design of this. And I just want to read directly from the logo rationale that was written by the students who created it. So the logo rationale says that the inspiration behind the logo comes from connecting the community. The logo represents this by the color lines coming together to create the final product, which in this case is the W, to represent well-being Waterloo Region. It's energetic, clean, and strong. The colored sections overlapping and creating new colors brings a sense of togetherness, alignment, and collaboration, all important values for well-being Waterloo Region. And then in the middle of the W, the different sections come together to make a pinpoint shape as it would be presented on an online map. And this symbolizes well-being Waterloo Region being the point in which it connects people to other parts of the community. So such a well-written rationale, especially for a group of students who had worked with us for maybe a month. And, you know, we're doing this as a project, probably along with many things going on in their lives as students. And then, so this brand guide is something that I think Peyton might explain a little bit more later on, but this entire brand guide is really the foundation of how we curated this whole revitalization and what I will be using going forward to create more consistent communications. And something that is so just immensely helpful for a communicator is to have this kind of foundational piece. So really helpful for us to get this from the creative day. And then the other items that this team created for us included a website template recommendation, which we used and love, which I'm going to be explaining a little bit later on. They also recommended a new newsletter template that we pulled some inspiration from, some swag item ideas to feature our new logo on, and then an entire campaign idea about making a pledge to care, a social media content calendar to help with the whole launch campaign, and even a campaign video outline. I have no idea how they all came up with all this amazing content. And today we're really just kind of revealing a couple pieces of this, but going forward, I'm excited to start taking inspiration from all of these other pieces that they recommended now that we have these foundational pieces like the logo and website ready. And so on a final note, not as creative and fun, I wanted to talk about our email addresses. So something that I want everyone to be aware of is within this transition, or sorry, within this revitalization, we are transitioning our email addresses to kind of assist with the overall brand identity. So it's a work in progress. Please be patient as we navigate this. We will be checking both inboxes until everything has been worked out. But on the screen here, you can see that the main general info email addresses will be hello and info, and then all of the backbone staff will just have their first name and their, the WellbeingWR.ca. And also Olivia, who is our new student, should also be on this list. I just realized she isn't. Sorry, Olivia. Okay, so that's it for me for now. I'm going to be demoing the new website a little bit later on, but really just wanted to highlight that Wellbeing's experience in this whole day was really so positive and is so helpful to push us forward in the right direction. And I'm really excited to have all this material officially launched.
Thank you so much, Jackie, for walking us through that. And I think, as somebody like myself who doesn't have a communications background, I love to hear people kind of nerd out about it and geek out about the things that are passionate. Jackie understands this on such a deeper level. And Olivia Main, who started as our Urban Indigenous Communications Assistant and as well with that communications expertise and background. It's just such a value add, I think, because as Jane kind of mentioned, we haven't always done the best job at kind of champing ourselves up and putting our identity out there. Really, we're here to support the partners, the work that's happening. So we don't always find ourselves in the spotlight. So being able to walk us through that, Jackie, I think that's really cool. And I know Kathy and Peyton will add some other layers of context there. And I would love folks, as we've just seen kind of, and you may have seen it already, but as you see it now on the screen or see it in our backgrounds, feel free to pop something in the chat, kind of what comes to mind for you when you see the logo. I think the colors are to me, so striking, these kind of jewel tones that really feel like part of the earth too, right? I don't know if this was part of the design process and thought, but Kelly Fran Davis, who's part of the communications and engagement working group, was really intentional in wanting to bring our understanding of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit communities to the logo design. And I'm very mindful that the purple pin drop center there is the color of the Haudenosaunee flag. And so I don't know if that was intentionally part of the design, but I think it really grounds us in the land that we're on and place-based. And then I see blue with the water and green with the trees. So I think there's a lot there. So feel free to pop that in the chat and we will have that Q&A as well. Where people can be, and I'm just seeing stuff come in. And yes, and Abby, I will say, is also part of the communications and engagement working group who was part of that. I apologize if I'm missing anyone. There's too many people on the screen for me to keep track of, but just so thoughtful, and I think ultimately really, really reflective. And we're running a little bit ahead of schedule today. I'm going to blame it on the fact that I talk really fast, so I'm going to slow it down. I really love to introduce Kathy Brothers and Peyton Ray, who Jackie mentioned were key parts of this process. So none of this would have been possible without Capacity Canada's Creative Day for Social Good, without the Conestoga College students who were doing this design work, and without the design professionals who were involved. And we had the pleasure of working with him and her Inc. and kind of their expertise. And I just see this as like a win-win-win-win-win for everyone, right? Because the students get good experience. As an organization that is a nonprofit, we get the capacity for these materials, which we wouldn't otherwise have access to. The design professionals hopefully get to have some fun and mentor the students. So to walk us through kind of this whole Creative Day for Social Good process, I will flip it over to Peyton Ray and Kathy Brothers. So Peyton Ray is a second-year graphic design student from Conestoga College who participated in the Creative Day for Social Good this year on the WellbeingWR region team. And for more than 50 years, Kathy Brothers has enjoyed senior governance and leadership positions within the charitable sector. In 2010, Kathy took on the role of founding CEO of Capacity Canada, a national charity that helps nonprofits across Canada to achieve their missions. Kathy is passionate about growing social good through collaboration, optimism, innovation, there's that word again, and entrepreneurship. Kathy gets excited about innovative ideas, risk-taking, and helping individuals, organizations, communities, and systems reach their maximum potential. So I will turn it over to Kathy.
Thanks so much, Paige. And I can't exaggerate how pleased Capacity Canada is to participate in this wonderful event this morning that we have, over the last 12 years, we've worked with hundreds of organizations across Canada on their marketing and branding through Creative Day for Social Good. And I think you guys get the gold star, top of the class, for the way you are rolling out what your products and services, your sort of results of Capacity Day. So it's so impressive how you're doing it. And it's in keeping with the way you've gone through this whole process as a team, and having so many of you involved and committed to the change that's you're undertaking within your organization. So congratulations, and thanks so much for including us in this. I love to see how you're using what came out of that magical day. That when Capacity Canada, I'm joined today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, but I'm joined today by two of my colleagues from Capacity Canada. They can probably wave at you from the screen, but Matt Miller is the executive in residence at Capacity Canada for all things marketing and branding. And Alison Beveridge is our director of public relations. And both of them have really critical roles in the implementation of Capacity Day. Or Capacity Day, that's a good one. Creative Day. It is Capacity Day. Every day is Capacity Day. Anyway, when I started at Capacity in 2010, and we looked at, how could we be, we're a really tiny agency with really minute resources, and yet we wanted to have like a really meaningful impact on helping other organizations to grow their capacity. So everything we do is geared to helping other organizations, nonprofits, to become stronger and to grow. And one of the things that just was reoccurring, came up over and over again, was the challenge of telling their stories consistently. That I know, having worked in several nonprofits myself, that often no two pieces of literature that came out of the same organization, or no two web pages, or no two, letters had the same look or feel. Like, everybody that wrote had a somewhat different sort of approach. So that the idea of having like a story and an identity that made the organization easily recognizable to their constituents continually got, kind of told to us in different ways. So like we put a lot of emphasis at the beginning on storytelling and being able to not just give all the statistics, but tell the impact behind them. Whose lives, where does your work make a difference, and whose life, in a way that is compelling and meaningful, and kind of motivates us to go deeper in our work. So we knew that this storytelling, this recognizable identity for our organizations was just huge, no matter how small or how large the organizations were. And I had a colleague that I had worked with in my past life, Matt Miller, who was had been very helpful to me on some major kind of creative and design projects in the past. So I asked Matt, he was one of our first team members at Capacity Canada in 2010, if he would help me in coming up with a way of helping agencies or organizations to tell their stories better. And because Matt's background is graphic design, he actually headed up the graphic design program at Conestoga College for 25 years. Matt, Matt's a real capacity builder, because the first thing he does is brings in all his friends to help, So for the first 2 years, 2010, 2012, which seems like a century ago now to us, Matt worked with some of the professional creative people in organizations like companies like Two Blondes, and kind of invited some of the local agencies to come forward, and we would do like a create-a-thon. We actually stole the idea from an American sort of movement called Create-a-thon. So we did like the whole thon thing, fits like what we're tech kinds of things that we're used to in this region. Well, the thing took off really, really quickly and really well. And before I knew it, Matt had engaged hundreds of his friends from Conestoga College in wanting to make this more accessible and, just have a greater impact for organizations. So since 2012, we've partnered with Conestoga College and a couple of really amazing marketing companies, Alchemy Systems and Him and Her. And Matt has led the process in getting invitations from companies or nonprofits across the country to be part of this, because remember, it's pro bono. Organizations are going to get like great value if they're chosen, but they're not going to have to pay anything for it other than the time that they put into it, which, as Jackie and Paige have described, is really pretty substantial. Like the more the company puts in, the more they're going to get out of it in the long run. So the program, annually gets about over or around 100 applicants, and there's a vetting process, and somewhere between 12 and 20 are chosen. And they're chosen a lot on the clarity of their presentation. Like, do they know what it is that they want to achieve? And more than that, are they willing to get behind it? Like, we're not in the business of just sort of giving people back something and hoping that they'll take it off the shelf once in a while and look at it. We want people that are really going to engage in the process and are committed to following it through. We learned that in the early years, Matt, where, a couple of the organizations got fabulous products that never saw the light of day because the person who was our liaison didn't have any decision-making in the company. They didn't have any budget to actually do any of the things that they asked to have produced. So, in terms of choosing the participants, we've learned a lot more about making sure they have the motivation and the capacity to follow through on whatever happens. I know that I'm going to use up all. Paige, you said about speaking too fast. I speak too much, so I'm going to use up all the extra time, but I don't want to do that in a boring way. But I think you might be interested in sort of the course that we've taken over the years, with its name changed to our own brand of Create a Day for Social Good a few years ago. And the majority of organizations that have been through this, I have to admit, are from Waterloo region, because that's where our home and heart is. But we do have people from every province that have participated. And one of the things that we were especially proud of was back in 2016, you might remember from the news, the horrible wildfires in Fort McMurray, where 88,000 people, the entire town, city, was evacuated for many months. So people had like a 15-minute notice to get out of town, and whatever, they could take, and most of them didn't take much. They got in their cars and they had to drive hours to the nearest city, which would have been Edmonton, down a highway that was, burning on both sides. I mean, the scenes were absolutely horrific. But Capacity Canada has had the pleasure of working a lot in Fort McMurray over the years, and we love that community. It's just got so many good things about it. It's remote, it's northern, it's actually very diversified, because everybody that's there has come from somewhere else, that it's one of our favorite places. Well, the organizations were actually absolutely devastated by the wildfire. In one case, a housing agency we had worked a lot with before the fire, the offices were in the home of the CEO, the executive director. Her house burned to the ground. All the records were destroyed. And neither she nor any of the board members came back to town after the fire. That like 88,000 people were evacuated, but the city now is only 68,000. So you can guess what happened. 20,000 didn't come back. In any case, that year, Creative Day for Social Good decided that they would just help the organizations in Fort McMurray. So we did a one-time sort of thing to really help those organizations restore some of what they had lost. It was absolutely, if you ever want to have an experience of, rising from the ashes, literally, the stories of the courage in Fort McMurray were amazing, and we were really proud to be part of that. The things that most stood out for me in the way your project unfolded was what I've already said, is the commitment at all levels within your advisory, your staff team, at every level, to actually participating. And you identified things that you really could use, and I love it that you got the range of products, because remember when I was saying at the beginning about the need to be able to have a constant and consistent brand and tell our story in a way that people recognize that it's Waterloo Wellbeing telling their story, and not Leadership Waterloo or Volunteer Canada or Capacity Canada, but your stories as they evolve all have some familiar marker in them, that we really know who you are, and building your sort of relationships with the community. So I love the way you were really prepared to do that. I love the way you have followed through and are kind of telling the world what you've done. I mean, I think congratulations. I think that's fabulous. Alison Beveridge, who's with us, is our director full-time at Capacity Canada. I can't believe we have a full-time director of public relations. In my life in social services, I never dreamt of such a kind of honor and luxury. But Alison we first met her as a student. She's a graduate of the degree program in public relations at Conestoga. And we first met Alison as a participant student in the Create a Day for Social Good. And then after that, she did a co-op placement through her public relations courses at Capacity Canada. And then she became invaluable working with Matt and making sure that we had all the logistics worked out to support the organizations that were accepted into the Creative Day. So at that point, we couldn't let her get away. So we're thrilled to have Allison with us. And Allison has actually opened up what I see for all of you, a whole new world. And I see you're already on this path at WellbeingWR, a whole new world of realizing the various talents we need in the nonprofit and charitable sector, that you can't tell your story without the people that know how to do it. You know, like we can have the best stories in the world, but if you leave it up to some boring social worker to tell the story full of jargon that nobody else, in a language nobody else talks, you know, you just like absolutely minimize your impact. So as we go forward, I like one of the things accidentally, but probably most importantly that I've learned out of Creative Day is how this marketing and branding and public relations becomes core to our being able to accomplish our missions. And Matt had a huge role in teaching me that. And then Allison just lives it every day. I mean, she's just, you know, one of the things they learn, there's a difference between, I'm a social worker by training, and in social work school, you learn to work through everything and process things forever. And in PR school, where Allison graduated, you realize that if you don't do it today, it's not going to be relevant. It's like, it's an immediate turnaround. So I'm still, every day I'm looking for a challenge I can give Allison that she can't accomplish in that day. And I haven't found it yet. That her sort of capacity to respond immediately while the story and the need is still hot is amazing. So huge addition to our team at Capacity Canada, and a great learning experience that I'd like to sort of support in other organizations as well. So now, Paige, I've probably put you way behind. Are we okay for time? But we're really looking forward to continuing Creative Day. We have worked now with the creative teams at both Conestoga College and at Humber College, which has increased our capacity for the number of organizations we can help. But the success that you're having really motivates us to keep this day up, because, you know, it costs us a lot to do it. And, you know, we have to fundraise that money. And when I see the impact that it's had, like, I'm just all over that. That really motivates us to carry on. So thanks for the opportunity, Paige, and all your team. I think that this is fabulous what you're doing today.
Thank you so much, Kathy, and appreciate you sharing, you know, everything you did, and you know, the impact that it can have, and what you shared about your work supporting Fort McMurray. And what really struck me is what you said around storytelling and the art piece. And this is where I've learned so much from Jackie, and you know, Olivia just started, but kind of has those eyes, like you say, right? Like kind of understands it on that deeper level. And like we're emotional creatures, right? We react to art. And so, you know, in some ways it's, you know, just a logo, but it's a representation of who we are. And it's that consistent kind of brand identity. And our last logo, you know, one of the big challenges that we identified as a need to update it is that it wasn't accessible. So it was a yellow and a blue that if you had it on a dark background, you couldn't see the blue. And if you had it on a light background, you couldn't see the yellow. And it just, you know, it had served us well for a number of years, but it was time for that refresh and for something that we could all kind of come together around. And if we hadn't had the Creative Day for Social Good, we probably would have spent a year or two kind of doing some community engagement and designing and fundraising to support that, because it's really, you know, like you said, we wouldn't have otherwise had the funds to do that. But because we had this opportunity with Capacity Canada, and we moved quickly, we moved really quickly, and just want to affirm we're so grateful for it, and we're using it because it's beautiful, and also because we know the gift that we've received here. And so just really appreciate everything that Capacity Canada has made possible with all of the partners as well. So thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Paige.
And I wonder, Peyton, as part of the student team that actually worked on developing this, and hopefully we weren't too difficult to work with. I know, because we're collaborative in the way that we work, we really did. Him and her team. We came back to them with some feedback and then, went away and then came back with some other feedback. And even the day of, we got feedback from community during that time. So I know we weren't kind of the traditional client to work with. But I'm wondering, Peyton, if there's anything you'd like to share about being part of this process and what that's meant for you as a student in graphic design at Conestoga College.
Yeah. So I guess I'll begin by saying I'm Peyton and I'm a second year in the graphic design program at Conestoga College. And this is actually my first year participating in Creative Day for Social Good. So I didn't really know what to expect until the actual day of the event. And I just thought it was so much fun. And I felt so grateful to have been part of this rebranding process for such an amazing organization. And I'll share my screen to show a little bit of the work that I did. And so the first thing I did during the event was come up with this mood board. It basically compiles a bunch of images and color elements and type to sort of bring a focus to what we wanted our designs to come out looking like. So this mood board was really a jumping off place for a lot of the other design elements that other group members came up with, like the logo, which was designed by Samantha, a third year, and the website, which was designed by Alvin, another third year. And this mood board really sort of captures the sense of community that we wanted to focus on. And the colors were eventually the ones that ended up being used for the logo. And the other big thing I completed for the event was, let me reshare. All right. And the other big thing I completed for the event was the brand guide, which is basically a very big document for Wellbeing Waterloo to reference that sort of shows all the different variations of the logo, what kind of fonts pair well with it. And it compiled a lot of the work that the other teams did, such as the campaigns and different applications of what t-shirts or mugs would look like. And yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm very thankful to have been part of this event, and it really helped me get a great sense of what real client work was like. And I think you're such an amazing organization, and I feel very blessed to be part of this rebrand process.
Thank you so much, Peyton, and to the whole team. Just really, we got that sense of dedication and interest, and you have that expertise, and you're kind of learning as you go. And I hope it was a great opportunity to work with him and her Inc. as well, and just be part of it. And I think hopefully you're hearing today kind of everything that was created is just so appreciated and will be put to very good use. We've kind of been slowly rolling out just leading up to this big reveal launch, but this is all of our branding moving forward. And I will say something I learned this year, or I guess late last year, is what a brand guideline is. So I had no idea what that was. I didn't know why it was important, and understanding it now, and it just also simplifies so much of our work too, to have that to refer to and keep things consistent. So thank you so much, Peyton, to you and the whole student team.
And Paige, if you ever forget about the importance of consistency in your fonts, I'll send Matt over to have a little conversation with you. I never even knew it made a difference in what font you used, until Matt did one of our original sort of style guide. And then every time we change the address or something on our letterhead, one of us will do it without sort of paying attention to, there's a consistency in the font story. So, all of that helps us to just look and feel like an organization that can be relied on and trusted, I'll get off the mic here, but I just wanted to add to what Peyton said, that for most of you would know this, that what the Creative Day consists of is a team of usually 8 to 10 persons who are, half of them are students and the other half are Conestoga faculty and professionals from the design sort of organizations like Him and Her and Alchemy Systems. So, and each team has what they call an account manager. So it's a highly organized, like it's a real SWAT team sort of approach to getting a lot done in a short time. And the students sure were under pressure, eh, Peyton? Like there's
It was a
there's
very
no putting
tight
this off.
turnaround.
Yeah, really tight. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I'll get off the mic.
Yeah, no, amazing, Kat. And I feel like we could talk about this all day, right? There's so much thoughtfulness that goes into this, and please do send Matt over, and thank you so much, Matt and Allison, for making that such a smooth process for us as the clients. And speaking of fonts, you know, this was kind of a 11th hour change that we asked for. I think it was after we'd received everything that we had about a week to kind of ask for any final tweaks with the students. And the font they had chosen, it was just I think the letters had a bit of curve to them. And I believe it was Cheryl on our team who identified, you know, this might be challenging for people to read, as, people whose English isn't first language, or who are that alphabet is new, or, you know, children who are learning to read, just having that kind of that fanciness on the font might be a bit of a barrier. So we felt a little bit extra, but we did ask for them to adjust that, and we're really happy we did, because we love the font now, and keeps it easy for me, and anything we're putting out into the world has that consistency. Okay, and I hope everything's okay, Scott. I'm just seeing in the chat, I hope everything's okay in your world and as you evacuate there. Hope it's just a drill. So as we're running a little bit ahead of schedule here, even with everything that Kathy shared, we will, I think we're going to just move forward to, we're going to adapt, which is part of our care model of align and adapt, to moving to the website run through that Jackie will do. And we're hoping to have Gerima Harvey join us, but it is just a little bit ahead of schedule. So hopefully he can play us out as we kind of finish this event. We're hoping to do a kind of an interactive drumming piece with Gerima. And if you've ever been part of, oh, Gerima is there. Oh, thanks, Kim. Gerima, are you here? Do you want to start us off? Oh, there you are. Okay. So we will adapt again. Flip back to our original. Thank you, Kim, for letting me know. And Gerima, if you
unmute my
great.
how does this, hey everybody. How's it going, y'all? Linda, good to see you. Hey everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us, Gerima. So I kind of feel like Gerima needs no introduction if you've heard him drum, or you've been part of a drum circle with him. You know his work. He's a dynamic soloist, member of many musical relationships. He lives in a world where love reigns, and where he hopes there's always an abundance of music lovers to collaborate with. He hears the beat of yonder drummers and possesses a unique gift of being able to gel with any art form and artist. And he launched his first CD in June of 2015. From studios to stage, this magical musical genius inspires everyone everywhere he goes. He's going to guide us through some drumming today. I've had the pleasure of being able to hula hoop to his drumming in Victoria Park, which is just such a fun opportunity. So I'll leave it to you, Gerima, to kind of take us away, and let us know if you'd like us to have our mics on or off as we kind of go through some drumming. Take it away, Gerima.
Yeah, well, good morning on this early morning, y'all. You can have your mics on, because you know that'd be great, and I hope you can enjoy what I'm gonna be doing. So yeah, feel free to ask questions later or something. So
Are they gonna join? You're gonna do a call and response and beat the hands? Clap the hands or anything?
You can clap your hands to the beat. And if sometime if you're into like call and response, then let me know. Then I can definitely do that for sure.
Definitely do that for sure.
Oh,
We can hear it a little bit. It's a little quiet, so we can turn our volume up, or if there's a way to put the mic closer, we can hear a little bit.
Original sound settings turned on.
Okay, where that is in video, audio,
Yeah, it would be
audio settings.
is if you go to video audio settings, there should be a place below where is it? Below music and professional audio. If you click show in meeting option to enable original sound, and then turn off automatically adjust microphone volume.
An option to enable original sound. Okay, and disable what? Echo? No. Repeat what you said. Show and retain option to enable original sound. And you said something else.
Sorry.
After audio and show and retain option to enable original sound.
You also want to make sure you unclick automatically adjust microphone volume, which is around suppress background noise. And then there should be a little toggle at the very top of the Zoom meeting once you've opened
audio device.
and you can click that on.
Test my volume. Okay.
It just gets rid of all that automatically adjusting.
Just a second. I'm not seeing. Oh, there it is. I'll click that. Okay.
Yep, just make sure original sound is turned on, and then it shouldn't cut out or suppress the background noise as much.
Okay, so that's under the, okay, so let's try it again. Okay, try that now.
There we go.
Better? Okay.
Thank you, Abby.
No worries, used to it with Chelsea's story.
I can dance too.
yeah, you can dance, you can, you know, your hands do whatever you feel. Artist is playing a djembe. Multiple instruments. Today I played my djembe for you. Feel free to clap your hands, you know, and yeah. Yeah, you know, this is what we do.
Gerima, for some reason, only when you're talking or singing can we hear the drums. I don't know if it's the
It might
sound.
be
It's
press background in audio settings as well. There's a way to change it from auto to low. Sorry, there's so many steps to audio.
Okay, so back to audio settings.
Yeah, audio settings underneath suppressed background noise, change that to low, and there should be a check mark box right above it that says automatically adjust microphone volume, and uncheck that one.
Okay, so that part was done already. So I'll just move it from auto to low.
Yeah, that should be helpful as well, hopefully.
Okay. Alrighty.
Lots of steps.
So maybe a different beat.
Uh,
Tell the name of the beat.
so I'm gonna play a little some 6/8 rhythm here, very traditional. I always love how the 6/8 rhythm goes faster, you know, especially with a whole bunch of people playing drums. and and I want to talk about like the heartbeat now. For for y'all, the heartbeat is very important because that's the first rhythm of life when you are born. So it comes from the heart. And my people who are Rastafarians have been playing this beat for many years. And this is why it is important that this is why they do it, because like it just it centers them, it makes you feel good, and it's a beautiful way of communicating. So here it is. How are y'all doing out there?
Right now.
Yeah.
That was brilliant, Rastafari.
Highly. Yes. Do y'all want to do like a call and response? Are y'all interested?
Sure.
Yeah.
Tell them how it works.
So in the call and response, basically, you're gonna copy what I do, whether you play it on your knees or table. You can even clap it. Basically, it's a fun way of learning how to also communicate, and yeah, and it's fun. Totally fun. Let's see how y'all can keep up. 'Cause I'll take it easy on y'all because y'all are new. So here I go. Ah, ah, ah. Pretty good, yeah. That's just a little example, or do you want more?
Yes, of course.
Waking us up. Keep going.
Again.
Uh-huh. Very good. Well, they
Okay, so now just do some music and let's now tell them put their skills together. Okay, and play with you.
Yeah, y'all can just create your own rhythm, and we'll create something.
Yeah, and play along.
Yeah, and play along.
All right. So here we
You
go.
know.
That was amazing. Oh my gosh. I feel like, does anyone else feel like the best drummer in the world when you're drumming along with Gerima? Because I can hear Gerima playing, but I'm like, oh, I'm drumming, I must be good. But you make us good, Gerima. Thank you so much. That was amazing.
You're welcome. Yeah,
Thank you.
it is my pleasure. Thank you. You know, I am thankful to join in, you know.
Thank you so much. Thanks for making this awesome space for us. I think, like Cynthia said, we're all awake now. We're all feeling good. I think we all just want to keep drumming. We do have Jackie's going to run us through a little bit of the website, but now that we're all smiling, hopefully everyone's smiling and feeling alert, and we've got some color in our cheeks. If anyone would like to be part of a group photo, little screenshot, Jackie will take a screenshot now. So if you'd like to be part of that, put your camera on. If you don't want to be part of that, take your camera off. And thank you so much, Gerima, for enlivening us today and teaching us some stuff and getting us to drum on our desks. That was really,
and
bringing us all
reminding me
together.
of all the in-person events we've seen you drumming at, because I remember the market, I remember the Victoria Park. Like, you have just reminded me of all the things that I've missed during COVID.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've been missing that for a long time now, man. Yes. Hopefully we can all get together sometime and just, you know, vibe or something.
Yes, please, hopefully soon.
We're gonna wait a little bit. Is everyone good if I go now? Just your old-fashioned screenshot here. All right, 1, 2. All right, thank you. And if you're not comfortable with that being on social media, just let me know and we can do something to kind of get your photo out of there, but I appreciate you. Great, Paige, I'm all good to move on.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, take care, Gerima. Thank you so much for joining us and making this really amazing. And I want to go to that island wherever you are. Oh, I think he's muted. Bye. Okay, so now just to close us out and help wrap us out for the day, just before our Q&A, Jackie will walk us through the website. Again, a lot of focus on ensuring that this website was accessible. Things are easy to find. There's lots of freely available resources. Like Jane said, we've received requests from other provinces, from other municipalities asking for to use the content that was created. And again, this was not Wellbeing Waterloo Region backbone team creating this content. It's going out into community, into working with other partners and creating something that we can share. Bye, Kate. Thank you. Take care. All right, I will flip it over to you, Jackie.
So I'm just going to kind of informally go through the website here. So I'm sure a lot of you have kind of taken a look through it. It's been launched for over a week now, and I just kind of wanted to go through some of the things that have really changed from the last website, besides the obvious look, and go through a little bit about the accessibility as well. So I'm just going to share my screen. And as I mentioned before, we did use the theme that was recommended to us from the Creative Day for Social Good experience. So they recommended a theme called Impeca, and has a lot of creative availability within it. Like, you can pretty much do anything you want. So we're still working on it. It's still a work in progress, but I'm just going to kind of walk you through. Firstly, when you come onto the website, you'll see this little kind of icon in the corner here. And we're looking through different companies right now who offer this accessibility toolbar. There are quite a few. So right now we're doing a demo of a company called Audio Eye. And basically all of the companies have something fairly similar. But this isn't necessarily permanent, but the general idea of what it will be going forward. So here you go into the website and you can choose basically any kind of modification that you want. So it's not just for people who use a device like a screen reader or something. It's for anybody who has a certain preference or an accessibility need. So you can change the contrast to kind of suit your needs. The cursor you can make bigger. The text size you can enlarge quite a lot. It does change the format of the website, but the content is still all there and will all be readable. And yeah, so there's a couple of things you can do in there, but then on the back side of things, this company also just changes and overrides the JavaScript. I'm not a web developer, so if I'm getting all these terms wrong, don't blame me, but I think that they override the JavaScript, and so it works on a screen reader or some kind of device as well. It just doesn't change anything on the front end. So again, not anything permanent here. We might, I know Abby from our communications group has recommended another company that we'll be demoing soon, but just wanted to make it really clear that accessibility is a big priority for us on this website and something that will be ever changing. And basically, I'm going to run you through the website that from a non-accessibility point of view, so I'm not going to have anything toggled on. So this is just how it's going to look for anybody coming on. So I wanted to talk firstly about the About Us section. So this is all fairly new compared to the last website. So not new content necessarily, just organized in a different way. So in our About Us, you can find a little bit more of a higher level, brief explanation of who we are and what we do. You can find our timeline story here. Meet the Backbone team, because I think we should all be highlighted because we're all doing great work. And also meet the collaborative, which a lot of you will be a part of this page. So definitely adding the screenshot from today onto here. These ones are from our holiday kind of event that we had, and hoping to get some older photos where things were in person before my time to add to this as well. And you'll be able to find all the descriptions for the working groups that we have currently going on right now. And then a list here of all the organizations that are involved with us. And it's not a static list. We are always going to be updating it and changing it. But we really want to make sure that we're featuring everybody in our network and promoting their content and making this website as collaborative as possible. So if you find that you would like to be on this list and you're not, please just reach out and let us know. I'll very happily add you there. And then I also wanted to talk about the logos and guidelines page. So in case you are working with us on a project or a poster or something like that, and you need our logos or brand guide, you can find that here. So you can see our brand guide, which will have all the logo specifications, the color scheme, the fonts, all that kind of stuff. And then here you can download a zip file of our high quality logos right here onto your computer. So very convenient way to design something with us if you're working like that. And then I also wanted to talk about this page, which is brand new. So it's called Join the Collaborative. And basically on our last website, we didn't have anything to, for a new person coming onto the website to be like, okay, how can I get involved with well-being? We really want to make sure that it's not an exclusive thing. We really want every voice at the table and every person is welcome here. So if somebody comes to our website and doesn't necessarily have a direct connection to us and wants to be involved, they can come on here, fill out a general form, tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're involved or why you want to be involved with well-being, how you would like to be involved, and how much time you're willing to spend on well-being a month. And then we'll make a streamlined process for this, but we're thinking like a meeting and talking with them to where they best fit inside the collaborative. And then the community calendar is something that was on the last website, but I just wanted to highlight because we are working towards adding to this and making sure that it's as updated as possible. So this is something that anybody can add to. If you don't have a host calendar on your own and you want to use ours, you're more than welcome. Or if you just want to promote your event on some other calendars, it's also a great option. So there's some filters here, but totally customizable to whatever feels meaningful for the community. And then we also just love to feature the other organizations that have amazing calendars. I know there's many more, but these are the ones that we're constantly visiting and promoting, so you can easily access that here. And if you do want to share content with us for us to share with our network and our social media and whatnot, so you can submit a request, which is also found in Contact Us, Share with the Network. This page is still working. As you can see, it's kind of blank right now, but this will be an external form on Checkmarket Survey, because we couldn't find a secure way to submit documents through the website. So for now, you can just submit this form, which is just a basic form, how you want us to share it, when you would like it shared by, a short description, and a photo with the sizing here that we need. And then some other parts that I wanted to highlight. So Stories and More is new to the website. This is basically our blog page. So this will be constantly being updated and added to. It's going to have all the newsletters that we share, maybe some network updates and special days and posters and whatnot. So you can just kind of sort through by going by scrolling, or you can go through all of the different categories here. Yeah, so those are, and then basically all of the trainings, workshops, all the things that we're doing that really make impact in the community are sorted through this menu item here. And you'll be able to find all of the trainings like the 30-day equity challenge, the Kika Ojo Thompson equity lens training here. It's all still being hosted on our website. Very accessible for anyone to use at any time. And we hope to be adding to this even more, maybe some more kind of certain day challenges to add here. So we'll always keep you updated. And it's so nice that we have a website that we can link to now, and it is a little bit more usable and accessible for everyone. And I think I'm not going to bore you too much with all the website stuff. So take a look for yourself and go through. If you have any suggestions, comments, feedback, feel free to put them in the chat here or email us directly. I have this little blurb up at the top here, so you can email us to let us know, or submit a form. Lots of options to contact us because we want to hear from you. So I think that's where I'll end with the website.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jackie, for running us through that, and just put the link in the chat there. Please check it out, go through it. Like Jackie said, it's a work in progress. I will say, Jackie has, put all of this together and done such a phenomenal job. Self-recognized as not a web designer, but still drove into this. And it's just, I think, really phenomenal what we were able to come up with and create, but always a work in progress, and always wanting to make sure that the website meets the needs of community. You can find easily what you're looking for. So if there's any feedback, suggestions, email us. I'll put that in the chat as well. And just let us know what we can do to make this website more useful, because it really is to share the good word about Wellbeing Waterloo Region, which is everyone on this call and beyond, the amazing work that's happening with all the partner organizations. So if there's anything we can do to keep it useful and best access, just let us know. We won't take it personally, I swear. So we're running a little bit ahead of schedule, which is never the worst thing, because folks can get a little bit of time back in your day. We do just want to take a couple minutes here for any Q&A, either with any of the Backbone team. There's folks here from the Communications and Engagement Working Group. There's folks from Capacity Canada and from Conestoga College. So if anyone has any questions, comments, feedback, thoughts, compliments, we'll always take, but honest feedback is really appreciated. Feel free to pop it in the chat, or you can raise your hand below under the reactions with the little raise hand, and go on the mic, and we can just take a couple minutes to see if there's any questions. Or just any thoughts. Great work, everyone. Thanks, Peyton, and great work to you and your team.
Yeah, we couldn't have done it without you, Peyton.
Thanks.
All good comments rolling in. Had some comments earlier, loving the colors, love the flow of natural yet bright colors. love the logo and the meaning behind it. This is, I mean, warms my heart to see how much folks are liking this. Okay, and Myron, I see you've got your hand up. Go ahead if you want to unmute.
Yes, thank you. I think it's very good. I think the future lies in having hybrid meetings, like having both meetings like this online, and also having meetings where people can gather in person. And so I think that's the future, which I would like us, I know there's a number of organizations that are working towards that. I know that we're working on that with our neighborhood association, and we're working with that with social development center Waterloo region, with trying to create hybrid meetings where people can both participate online and participate in person. That's what I mean by hybrid. So I think it's all very good. It's just be nice if people who don't have technology skills can also have places they can meet in person. I would think they would need to, well, that's a really contentious issue, whether they would need to have COVID shots. But for myself, I would want to participate. I would want to participate online if people didn't have their COVID shots.
Yeah.
I know it's a very contentious issue right now with the trucker strike and all, but
Yeah.
so
And-
hybrid meetings, I would like, how do we move to hybrid meetings? Once COVID is passed, if we get past it, how can we continue to have online meetings for people who can't get out? And how can we have meetings for people who can get out in person?
Yeah. It's so important, Myron. I think, you know, I think we'd all love to see each other again. It's so bizarre. I've met the folks on the Backbone team twice now, I think, in person in the months we've been working together. I've, you know, never met Olivia yet. Myron, we've never met yet, but I hope that time is coming really, really soon and we can do it safely. And I want to shout out Social Development Center of Waterloo Region. I know Holly was on the call earlier, but they've done some really great work with creating COVID safe spaces and just kind of outdoor spaces where people can gather. And I think that's part of that innovation piece. And they created like living rooms outdoors. That's so important, Myron. I think I'm so excited to meet, like, I mean, some of you have met in person, but those that I haven't, I really want to meet folks in person. And, you know, I'm a hugger, so I might have to just deal with that and not try to hug everyone as soon as I see them. But
I got
yeah.
to meet you in person. Don't forget to tell them.
Yes, yeah, no, yeah, Jane mentioned that I got to meet Diane and Jane for the first time last week, which it just feels special. It feels like kind of like every time I see a new person in person, it's like a special event, right? So, and it's always a special event getting to talk with Diane. So really important, Myron. Thanks for mentioning that. And hopefully soon. I know Linda Terry, I've seen on this call too, has been asking for, when are we going to meet in person? When are we going to do this? I think we all really need that soon, safely. Yeah, Diane, yeah.
I just wondered, I'm sorry I had to go on and off because of work here at the phone ringing, and it was someone who doesn't use technology, Myron. So thank you for bringing that up. And I think it's probably our biggest challenge is as we are asked to learn more about technology, yet still reach out to those who are not keeping up with that pace. So I really second the vote for incremental supports for people at various levels of technology skills and connections. If we can work as a collective around making sure we keep that in mind somehow, I think the support here has been fantastic to meet others trying to serve the community in all the different ways that we do, and how much emotional energy goes into the work that's being done by 70 organizations on your roster. Good job on the radio today. Paige was on the radio, CKWR, my favorite radio station, 98.5 FM. Please check it out. It has potential for community voices, multiple languages. It's definitely coming into its 50th year. So I've become a champion for letting people know about that organization and how you can put your voice on there too. I was wondering about audiences and how we can approach, you know, different audiences better. So that was kind of my question is, you know, what's the marketing plan going forward? I may have missed some, I'm sorry, during today's meeting. But thank you so much, everybody. Cynthia, it's nice to see you too.
Thanks, Diane. I'll speak to that, and then if anyone wants to chime in, feel free. I think part of this, you know, we've been kind of working so hard towards getting this branding out, and you know, hoping that restrictions are lifted and we can gather safely soon. And so part of the marketing plan really is to just kind of get the word out. So we hope that everyone, you know, who's been part of this event today and beyond will be a great ambassador for us. And because you're part of this work, this is not Wellbeing Waterloo Region as brought to you by the Backbone team. This is Wellbeing Waterloo Region as brought to you by Waterloo Region. So share it, you know, get a hold of us. And one of the things that as we can both go out into the world and make those broader connections, Diane, I think having the forms on the website that Jackie created about folks who want to join the collaborative, that was kind of one of my first questions coming on and joining the team last summer was if somebody wanted to get involved and wasn't otherwise connected with an organization or kind of had that contact or, you know, didn't know Cynthia, although Cynthia knows everyone in the region, so you probably know Cynthia. But if people didn't kind of know and have that personal connection in, how would they get involved? And so being able to kind of market out the new website and have that space where people can want to get in, I think is huge. And also just having the communications capacity with Jackie and Olivia to be sharing that out, definitely not my skill set. You know, the Backbone team's grown, so being able to push that out, I think is going to be really huge. But we really also rely a lot on word of mouth. So tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your dog, tell everyone about Wellbeing Waterloo Region, and hopefully the website to now wellbeingwr.ca is a great point of reference for folks. And I think it's also our social media handles as well.
And I'll just kind of add to that page. And, you know, since I started in September, really a lot of my focus has been on this branding because of the website completion. And that has also been the focus of the communications and engagement working group so far. So before I started, I was under the impression that that group hadn't met for quite a while. So when I started again, we kind of reconvened. And basically, we've been talking a lot about, you know, the branding, the website, the social media and whatnot. But now that it's all officially launched, we are really able to pivot and, you know, focus on what really is our marketing strategy and like what is our goal? What is our next goal to achieve for this? So we have a meeting just next week, and Olivia and I are going to start planning for that shortly. Yeah, and we're looking forward to have these foundational pieces to actually make a marketing strategy, because you couldn't really make a marketing strategy without a brand. So yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to say you're behind
No.
schedule, because you're not. This is great. And I'm so excited to see the rebranding and all the energy that's gone in with Kathy and you know, using resources. Volunteer Waterloo Region is also going to be working with social venture partners this year. So we are capacity building here as we go too. So nice. Yeah, sharing logos and links and all that. Websites are so much work. Please just share our website somewhere in there and make sure that that's on the volunteer roster for sure if people are looking. Thank you. So nice to meet you, Jackie and Olivia.
Yeah.
I've never met you before.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks, Diane. Any other thoughts or comments or questions? We know the Zoom fatigue is real, so we don't want to hold people too late, but it's also so nice to kind of gather here together.
Large groups are hard to manage. Paige, you're doing a great job. I do the same thing with our networks, and it's a skill set that requires constant learning. And I'm using arms in real life too, so I've started to use them in my Zoom box. So may I recommend it for exercise? I think we're all sitting a lot and looking at computers, but don't forget to do your exercises.
I love it. Thanks, Diane. Well, if there's if there's any other feedback, feel free to pop it in the chat or come on the mic. But I really want to thank everyone so much for attending today, and then also just being part of this collaborative part of the network. However you're involved, according to your capacity and your interest, that's enough. And whatever you can do, or if you want to get more involved, please do just reach out to us. Again, hello@wellbeingwr.ca, or personal email addresses. Let us know. Thank you so much to Elaine for opening our event and bringing our minds together and bringing us together like that. And then for Gerima to sync our heartbeats and bring us together that way. To the backbone team, so Cheryl, Cynthia, all the backgrounds there, Jackie, Olivia, and Sydney, for everything that you do every day, waking up and getting to work on this and bring so much goodness in the community to life. So we just really thank you everyone for attending, and here's 20 minutes back in your day. Encourage you to go get outside or do something fun for yourself, or just lay down and take a nap, whatever feels good. And thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here today. We really, really appreciate it, and we're so excited.
Thank you so much, Paige. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Nice to see you, Donna Dubé. It's like romper room. Cheryl, Anjali, you're coming to our youth group next week. Oh no, tomorrow, today. No, next week. Sorry.
Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you so much for
everyone
joining us today.
Thank you, John Bob. Good night. What's that show?
You, everyone.
We should have had Fran Papperchin in here.
That just shows how old I am. Only some people got that reference. Good night, Jim.
I didn't get the reference, but I'll always laugh when you laugh, Cynthia.
It's nice to see everyone.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
And thank you, Abby, for your help. You're always a lifesaver.
Yes.
No worries. I'm always here to help.
Love that.
Have an awesome day, everybody. Thank you.
Donna. Bye.
Thanks, Donna.
Bye, everyone.
And thank you, Kathy, so much for everything that you said. It was
Thank you.
amazing.
Good to see you again.
Hate to go. This is the fun part. Goodbye.
Bye, Diane. Thank you for everything.
Bye, Diane. Always good seeing you.
Yeah, take care, guys.
You too.